I'm VJ Hamilton and welcome to the Autoimmune RESET, the place for you to learn how to thrive with autoimmune disease and feel empowered to take steps to transform your health to feel better than ever. You can start making changes today to improve your health. So with every episode, my mission is to share with you simple ways to up-level your diet and lifestyle with key learnings from my own journey reversing autoimmune disease and inspirational stories from those who have reset their autoimmune symptoms and are now thriving in life. I suffered from autoimmune disease for over 25 years and now I live symptom-free, and I wish the same for you as well. So thank you for being here and sharing this time with me. Now let's get started. Hello and welcome back to the Autoimmune RESET Podcast. I'm your host, VJ Hamilton. I'm a nutritionist, scientist, and expert in autoimmune disease. And tonight, I am excited to welcome back Dane Johnson to the podcast, who is the founder of Crohn's Colitis Lifestyle. We had an amazing discussion last time, so if you haven't listened to that episode, certainly go back and listen to it because we're covering a slightly different topic today. But welcome back, Dane. I'm so excited to have you here.
VJ, thank you so much for having me back. I feel blessed to be here, and I just want to let everyone listening to know that we're here to get real results and heal, and I just want to put my best foot forward for everyone, and hopefully we can restore that gut health today. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, well, I'm glad to have you here again. I am encouraging everybody to go and listen to the podcast before where you shared more about your story. But let's just touch on that briefly before we go on to the main topic of today, where we want to talk about 5 ways to stay in remission if you have IBS or IBD. But give us a flavor of what you've been through in your life and what you now do.
Yeah, so I'm here because I nearly died of Crohn's or colitis complications. I was diagnosed with both. I nearly died in 2014, and I was 120 pounds in a wheelchair, couldn't walk. I was housebound for a year. I took every biologic, steroid, medication, and none of it really worked for me. I tried diets and natural medicine. It didn't all work perfectly, so I had to figure out things we're going to talk about today to finally get real results. I failed for 4 or 5 years to get any results before it actually started to get results, and that's what we're going to talk about. And where I learned about how to make sense of diet and supplements and nervous system and root issues, pathogens, toxins, what a biologic could do and what it couldn't do. And I was able to avoid surgery, so I've never had a surgery. I've been in remission, symptom-free for 10 years. And where I haven't had any major issues, and I haven't taken a medication since 2015 after chronically using them and failing them beforehand. It was the hardest thing I ever did. It wasn't linear, it wasn't perfect, it hasn't been perfect, but I've been able to be the CEO of my health and build a plan that can keep me healthy and keep me moving forward. Hopefully I can share some of that insight and help everyone get some big takeaways.
Yeah, okay. So let's get on to that topic then. When you're thinking about the things that really move the needle for you in your health, I mean, you've taken a lot of medications as we talked about last time. And just remind me, did you see any improvement with taking those? And which ones worked for you more than others? Because that's something I get a lot. Clients will come to me and they'll be on medications. They really want to get off them long term, but they are seeing some results, but they still have some symptoms when they're taking them as well. Was that the case for you?
Yes, that was the case for me. Now, I didn't really get great results. Like 6-MP gave me, my liver enzymes got elevated and I started getting severe symptoms where I had to get off that immunomodulator. And that's a nasty one because some of these medications can increase chance of tuberculosis, pancreatitis, liver issues, all sorts of different problems can happen there. Lymphoma, cancer. Yeah. So, and just also give people preface on this is not only my story, but, we've seen exactly what you're talking about on, let's say, about 2,000 to 3,000 people that have all received private coaching from me and my team. And we have a naturopath, 2 naturopath medical doctors on staff, nurse. They're all background. We're all coaches. We don't act as your doctor. And we do this. We see like 250 people a week privately who have IBD all around the world. So this also comes as we talk today. I just want to give that preface. So as we talk about biologics or medications or relief, this is also not just me, but what I've generally seen across the board, which I think people will help them with what to do. We commonly see biologics calm down symptoms, or steroids, which is a short-term immunosuppressant cortisol steroid, calm down symptoms, but it's not going after addressing root issues. Think of it this way, the easiest way. If you're on Entyvio, Rinvoq, Remicade, it will calm down a potential inflammatory cytokine reaction, but will do nothing for small intestine bacterial overgrowth, colonic dysbiosis, poor digestion, or if you have a parasite infection. 0. If anything, you'll say, hey, I'm better now, go back to your old ways, and the problems will proliferate until the biologic doesn't work, and then the doctor recommends surgery.
Yeah,
so,
and then it's almost like a rebound effect.
So you want to use, the best answer is, to get great results, you want to combine natural and conventional. Conventional is your emergency care medicine that keeps you stable and from under the knife. Natural is your way of getting your freedom back. The more success you have with natural, the more you can strategically decide whether or not you want to use conventional with your doctor.
Yeah, that's a great approach. And I'm exactly the same. I'm very supportive of my clients that are on medication. There's a reason people go for that. And actually some of the harm that inflammation can cause, you want to make sure that it doesn't cause damage that is irreversible. And you were lucky in that sense that you didn't need to have any surgeries or anything with your IBD. Yeah.
Very lucky. And it almost killed me. The doctors said, if you don't do this surgery, you'll be too sick to even do it. So it was kind of dumb the way I say it, honestly. It was really kind of dumb. I didn't know what I was doing, but this was 15 years ago, right? Yeah. Almost. 2014, so it's 2026, 12 years ago. So I would say the big takeaway is I think the medications weren't working perfectly and getting less and less effective because my root issues were getting worse. And also what I realized in my research, when I was on 6-MP or Imurin, they can increase chance of certain infections being able to take hold of your body because they weaken your immune system. So how did I go from a little bit of ulcerative colitis in 2009, just left-sided ulcerative colitis, 7 centimeters long, small, to widespread, nearly killed me? Well, when I got chronically sick, they found that cytomegalovirus was active in my body. And that is a type of virus that can take a hold of a weakened immune system. Yeah. So out there, if you're on immunosuppressants and you continue to have these problems and they get worse, is it creating an environment where a specific type of bacteria, fungus, virus might be able to replicate and take a hold of your body a little stronger? That's what got me so life-threatening sick, if that's the best way to say it, right? So to answer your question, it really comes down to you want to get self-empowered, but respect your doctors, use your doctors, make sure you're safe. As you get stronger and more experienced in your own personal journey of healing, you'll be able to be stronger in your discernment of what you use and why, and you can build your answer and build your plan and surround yourself with team members who back up the future you're going to build for you, whether that is with medication or without. I chose to go without.
Okay, so where do you start with that process?
So first understand, and with my experience, conventional medicine saved my life. When I was dying of this disease, if it wasn't for those IVs, if it wasn't for those biologics, it wasn't for prednisone infused 200 milligrams, it wasn't for the painkillers and the antiviral chemotherapy, I'd be dead. So you have to understand what natural medicine can do and cannot do. So one of the first, I'd even say first steps to getting in remission of IBD is understanding what tools you have and the potential value of the tool. So a lot of us are putting too much weight on, I would say, diet alone. And they're like, wait, what, Dane? No, diet is very important. I know everyone's screaming about how diet's important and get rid of the sugars and starve the chronic dysbiosis. We get it. But a diet, if you've got severe underlying issues, you can almost eat nothing and your body will still freak out. Arthritic pains, autoimmune cytokine storms, it won't matter if there's a deeper issue. Yesterday, he's been good for years and all of a sudden his body's freaking out. I said, show me what you're eating. He's eating perfect. This guy is clean as can be. What do I think his root issues are? He either has a severe epigenetic issue where he can't process toxins, like he got in a moldy house and has a severe reaction to mold. More likely with those severe reactions, I see reactivation of cytomegalovirus, Epstein-Barr, which are forms of herpes. Okay, maybe also Coxsackie, something like that. Or he was able to eat something, got food poisoning. It's very common. So if you're eating a lot of roughage, this guy is more plant-based. If you're eating a lot of raw foods and you've got low stomach acid and a weak microbiome, that parasite might be able, or bacterial load might be able to hit his body a lot harder than the average person because his microbiome is not as strong as the average person's yet. That's where we get into how to keep yourself healthy.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's how we go into these strategies, because I suppose the strategies are all around understanding what's at the root of it to begin with, because once you understand that, because everything you said, I mean, I had alopecia and chronic fatigue syndrome and psoriasis, but I had cytomegalovirus. I had issues in my gut. I had all the, so it's, even though we're talking about different autoimmune conditions, we're thinking similar things. Why is that understanding of this so important when you're thinking about strategies for remission with these types of conditions?
It's so important that you understand it because it gives you your freedom back, that it's not just a disease that hangs on your shoulder for the rest of your life, but there are root issues that you can attack to take your freedom back and not be a victim. That's the first thing, because emotionally there is a reason, there's something you can do about it. Yeah. The second is it gives you a stronger defense on why you choose to eat a certain way, why you choose to live in a certain area in the world. Parasites, you're more likely to get parasites in certain third world countries, or certain, how they're eating their foods or what kind of water you're drinking. When I went to Thailand, I came back super sick and I said, what happened? I've been running my plan. What happened? Well, I had gotten E. coli because the water source wasn't great. And I had a clean fruit smoothie that was made on the street and was washed in their water, and my microbiome was not ready for that. When I was in Mexico City, I had a green tea with their water, their normal, regular Mexico City water source, and I got salmonella. I mean, within days, I'm getting 12 bowel movements, cramping, pain, urgency, and I've got to run a plan. I do a stool analysis, and I see high levels of salmonella. Actually, with the E. coli, I had to go to the hospital, and they tested and say, yeah, you got an infection. When you've been chronically sick and you have a weakened gut, you're more susceptible to a severe reaction to some of these infections where someone else doesn't get it, but you may, because of the root issues. And we're going to talk about some of those root issues that people with autoimmune need to fix, because you and I and everyone listening, we are more susceptible to severe reactions to conditions other people are not susceptible to. Perfect case in point is the diet. I react to this food, they don't. Why?
Yes.
Why?
So explain to us why then. Let's talk about these root issues that a lot of people like me, like you, that have suffered with autoimmune disease in the past, or somebody listening who might be going through it at the moment. What do they need to be thinking about?
Okay, great question. So let's just continue to organize so everyone has their thoughts. The first step I want you to do is I want you to combine step one to get in remission, is combine everything together. Become the CEO of your health. Learn natural medicine no matter what you do. Learn to get yourself empowered, and then don't sleep on your doctor, and use a doctor who will listen and help you build your dreams conventionally. Combine them all together. That's your chance of getting remission is a lot greater, and then you can decide if you're going to use conventional moving forward. Okay? That's up to you at any point, but do everything together in one. Number two is the rule of fives, I call it, across the board. So we need to simplify what are some of the root issues in your body we need to fix, what are the root issue pathogens, and what are the root issue drainage pathways, are the five I want to teach you, the rule of fives. And this is going to take natural medicine and years of studying and really condense it in a way where you can start understanding it. So write down the ones that you're excited about, but believe me, we're not going to do everything in an hour. We're going to do what we can, but let's hopefully get some massive aha moments. So 5 problems going on with the biochemistry of your body with autoimmune disease. Number 1, poor digestion. Number 2, an imbalanced microbiome. Number 3, a weakened gut lining or leaky gut, right? The tight junctions in your gut lining are damaged. Number 4 is the nervous system, dysregulated nervous system. You're stuck in fight or flight. And number 5, we're going to say, is the poor drainage pathways. All 5 of those are going to play key roles on the balance and nourishment of your immune system. So if you have an autoimmune condition, I can almost guarantee all 5 are a problem for you.
Yes.
Any autoimmune, in my opinion. Because when you fix the gut, rheumatoid arthritis, lupus, Sjogren's, all that can get better because 70% of the immune system that's overreacting lives in the gut. So let's break down a little bit more of each 5 of those real quick. 5, digestion. You've got a stagnant liver. You're not creating enough bile. Bile breaks down fats, helps you poop, helps you make cholesterol and hormones, helps you make dopamine, all that. You've got poor pancreatic functions. You don't have the pancreatic enzymes to break food and absorb it into the small intestine. That's why you're nutrient deficient, chronic fatigue, mitochondrial dysfunction. 3, you've got low stomach acid. That's making you more susceptible to parasites. Raw foods are harder to eat. You're seeing insoluble fiber in your bowel movements, undigested food coming out. And that's why you're going to the bathroom 8-9 times a day, because you're getting food sensitivity because the food is not properly broken down in the stomach or the small intestine. Digestion. Number 2, microbiome imbalance. Think of it as a city. You've got Gotham City. We want Vancouver in June, okay? You've got Gotham. We need to turn you into Batman. We need to get rid of this imbalance, okay? So the problem is you have bacteria and fungus that are supposed to be there, but they're overgrown. It's called proliferation. In proliferation, you're getting an increase in endotoxins, lipopolysaccharides. You have not enough police officers, you have too many bad guys, and that is perpetuating a problem. 3, the gut lining. You don't have good border control. You are allowing things that are not supposed to be in the bloodstream. And you are allowing the immune system to be exposed to things it's not being exposed to. That's called leaky gut. It's like the Chinese wall has been broken down, okay? So you need better border control. You need to seal up the gut lining. Everyone said it, but it's hard to do. I'll give you a little newsflash on how to do that. If you continue to have a poor microbiome and poor digestion, your leaky gut will never go away.
Yeah.
You can take all the body.
Yeah.
You can take all the body protective compound 157 you want. You can take all the glutamine, 15 grams a day. You can take all the licorice root, the slippery elm you want. If you don't fix your microbiome balance and you don't fix your digestion, your gut lining's not going to get better. Okay? You might temporarily get it better by sticking tons of stuff in you, exosomes and stem cells, but it's not going to actually fix. Number 3, the fourth one we talked about is the nervous system. How you experience life, and if you're in a state of fight or flight, how you sleep, how you experience, you need to get into the autonomic parasympathetic. Ways to do this, salivate. If you're not salivating before you're eating, your digestion's going to not work as well. Your heart rate's going to be higher. You're going to get more of a adrenaline kick through your body. You're not going to allow your cells to detox, to calm down, to sleep well. So, that's going to be really important that you tell your body you're not in pain. You tell your body you're not sick. That you tell your body that you're here, you're present, that we have sunlight, we have laughter, we have love. And we can go over that. But the nervous system, which I know Vijay says she's been talking a ton about with you guys. And then number 5, the drainage system. So how your body handles toxins. I'll give you a keynote. I helped a woman reverse dysplasia and severe ulcerative colitis that actually had turned into colorectal cancer, already had the surgery beforehand, but still had high-grade dysplasia plus ulcerative colitis, plus her labs looked terrible. She had already gotten rid of all the bad stuff in her life. The key to her success was that her body couldn't eliminate the toxins that were already there. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Her body couldn't get rid of. So you can say, I got rid of the parabens in my makeup. I got rid of the VOC candles. I got rid of the microplastics in my kitchen. I got rid of the municipal water and I got clean water and I put a HEPA filter in my house. I did all the things. Why am I still chronically inflamed? Because your body cannot eliminate the toxins already in it. It is one of the key things. And so that goes into the next 5, okay? I hope everyone's not getting overwhelmed, right? So if you're overwhelmed with your doctor and the doctor's looking at you like, what are you talking about? There is no root issue for this. You have a chronic disease. You need to accept it. Stay on your biologics. Start asking them about this. Well, what about poor digestion? If I enhance my digestion, what about microbiome imbalance? Because every medical doctor is going to agree that the microbiome is real and matters, that the gut lining is real and matters, the digestion is real and matters, that the nervous system is real and matters. So now we're taking this conversation that's really out of context with the doctor about incurable disease, and we're making it bite-sized.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I still find, especially in the UK, maybe slightly different in the US with some of my US clients, but they still don't know what to do about that.
No, they don't, because they're not natural medicine experts.
Yeah, exactly. But what is somebody looking out for? I mean, we don't need to go into the specifics, but before we move on to the next 5, what should somebody be looking out for if they could potentially have intestinal barrier issues or if they have low stomach acid? And how do you assess this? Do you do stool testing? Yeah. What's your approach to understand what out of those 5, or probably all 5, as you said, of areas to focus on? But for example, with that client, we knew that the detox function was kind of the most. So,
and that's a great question. If we want to unwrap that a little bit, the first goal of why I wanted to share that with you is to start making the idea of I have an autoimmune disease forever and there's nothing I can do about it bite-sized. It's like, wait, digestion is obvious. It's not about a parasite or about EMF or these crazy things that are a little outside of my norm. This is a normal function of the body. So then how do we start to discern if one of these 5 biochemistries are off? If you've been diagnosed with inflammatory bowel disease or you have a severe autoimmune disease you've had for over 5 years, I can pretty much, I'd say a 90% chance all 5 are a problem. Okay, so you then start just enhancing them, saying, well, what are ways I can start to enhance it? Let's digestion. Chronic bloating, chronic food sensitivity, chronic gas, you get undigested food in the stool, you are consistently malnourished and underweight. Now, is it only digestion? No, because what did we say? Digestion affects microbiome, which affects the gut lining, which all affects the nervous system, which also affects the hormones, which also affects the dopamine production, which also affects your ability to eliminate toxins. So it's all connected. Now, this is where we get into black belt natural medicine. So don't get overwhelmed out there. Just start by getting an aha moment of, wait, this makes sense. If I've got an autoimmune disease, should I just look at enhancing? So what can you do? Maybe hot water with lemon. Stop drinking cold water and ice water. It dilutes digestion. Stop drinking more than 4 to 6 ounces of water when you're eating food. It dilutes digestion. Okay? Hot water. Now, what herbs are natural bitters? The word you want to understand is bitters. You can merely find what works for you. Ginger, peppermint, fennel, maybe a little bit of apple cider vinegar in the hot water, a little lemon. What you do for a digestion often helps with drainage support. So I also want to tell you this, what you do for one tends to do for all. So that really helps with people who don't have 8 years of medical degrees and all these PhDs just to go, wait, the body is perfect and divine. Pray on that, live on that, ground in that. You're not going to heal you guys. Your body's going to heal you. You just got to give it what it needs and stop poisoning it.
Yeah.
Now,
and
it's
I think
hard.
that actually helps with overwhelm as well. Because you can hear all these things. And I mean, I love talking about these things. I talk about them with clients and you know, a lot on this podcast and everywhere else. But it can feel overwhelming, can't it, to hear all of these things, even though I think you've categorized it well and it does feel quite bite-sized. But when you think about it, you're right. Like ginger, you have a ginger tea. You know, one of the things I recommend, which isn't that tasty, but it is quite helpful, is an artichoke leaf tea because it's really bitter.
There we go.
But again, it's, you know, that's going to help with the gallbladder. It's going to help with the liver. It's going to help with digestion. And when you start thinking about these small little things that you can implement into your day and weave into your day, it suddenly feels so less overwhelming.
Yeah.
And so much more manageable.
That's true. But the overwhelming is, okay, but is that enough? The energy that everyone's right now holding inside, as I've been sick, stuck in a house, chronically sick, and spent too much money that it makes me want to throw up, trying to heal myself and not getting results. When is it going to be enough? How do I get out? So when they hear artichoke leaf, it's just like, well, is that it? Well, like, how many things do I have to do? What's my plan? That's the overwhelm. Okay, so everyone just root into this idea. If I did a one-on-one with VJ and she's an expert and me and her went deep into her life, her mom's life, my life, we would still be talking about these same strategies I'm teaching you today, just at a higher frequency of like tweaks. Like me and VJ would just go into like, VJ, where do we think's going on with digestion? How is it related with the liver? How do we think it's related with your nervous system? How do we think, is the artichoke leaf enough? Do we need to add 3 herbs in? So just start with the baseline. And I don't care if I'm talking, it's VJ, it's Mark Hyman, it's Axe, it's any of these guys. We're all going to go to these levels. So what you have to do is just understand how to play the game, give yourself space and time, and allow yourself to get better. You're not going to become a black belt in a overnight. Give yourself time. And we'll go over what can you do today. So stay with us. What can we do today that I think can get you the best bang for your buck with low risk that you can implement today? We'll do that. Okay. So where can we start? What can we actually do?
Yeah, exactly. Okay. Yeah, I like this.
So now the beautiful thing about the 5s is the last one was the drainage pathway. Now there are 5 drainage pathways. Now there are more than that, but just stay with me. We're getting a crash course on natural healing and how to get real results. Okay. So drainage pathways is going to be the liver. We talked about the liver with digestion. So, I get a double whammy. If I work on digestion, I work on the liver, and the liver cleans the blood 100 times a day. And it's one of the main things you need to create glutathione, which is the powerhouse antioxidant that cleans toxins. The liver is Robin. Okay. The gut is Batman. Okay. The liver is Robin.
I like these.
The gut is Batman. If you're taking on Gotham, you need Robin. All right. We got a bat phone Robin over here. You got to come. This guy's wild. Okay. And that's especially been sick. If you've been sick more than 5 years, absolutely. You have more, the problems proliferate. If you've been diagnosed more than 5 years and it's been getting worse, we got to get on. We got to customize your plan. We got to do this. Okay. So we have the liver, kidneys, your skin, your ability to sweat, your ability to poop, the constipation, liver, bile, we talked about, and the lymphatic system. The lymphatic system is a major, just a nasal vessel throughout your whole body. It's kind of like the blood vessels, but there is no heart to pump it, and it helps to move water and toxins from the bloodstream, from the organs, from the fat tissue, and move them to be excreted through your body. So the lymph is how your body moves things from, all over your body, your gut, your different organs, your blood vessels, all over. And the thing is, the lymphatic system doesn't move toxins famously until you move. So again, I see a lot of people. I did a testimony with a guy named Chris. He's a director, film director. He got diagnosed with Crohn's disease at 12 years old. He's had 3 surgeries. He had bowel resections a few different times, failed 5 biologics, Remicade, Entyvio, Infliximab, Rinvoq, all of it. Went on to, I think Sky Ritzy was the last one they put him on, started in the SHIELD program. He's 43 years old, been sick his entire life. We got him into remission, symptom-free for the first time in his entire life. Took 3 months to do it. Now that's crazy fast, fast.
Yeah, that's fast, yeah.
3 to 4 months where He got like 50% symptom relief in like 2 weeks, which is insane. Insane. This isn't everyone. This is a highlighted home run, right? But we do see this. And the way we did it is out of all those 30 years, no one worked on his liver. His liver was so backed up. I said, Chris, what's one of the number one things that helped you? He said, kale support by Cellcore. Now, if I give kale support to certain clients who are not ready, their body's going to freak. They're going to hurt. Because I had a 72-year-old lady who's been sick for 15 years. She took that. 4 days later, she was at 12 bowel movements a day. Before that, she was at 2 to 3 stable, no symptoms. You have to play the game and know what you're doing and why. So that's an example with Chris. That was a time when his body was prepared to start moving the liver. If your body can't eliminate toxins, it will stay in a chronically inflamed state despite what you eat or what you think or how much you meditate or how much you get sun. Now, all those things help drainage pathways, but Chris doesn't have the genetic ability to be able to eliminate certain toxins. So in drainage pathways, me and VJ walk into a room. I'm not mold sensitive. My body can handle the mold. Let's say VJ can't. We both breathe in a little bit of Stachybotrys, a little ochratoxin A, a little aspergillus. The next day, she's got arthritic pains. The next week, she's chronic fatigue, headaches, and she's calling me. She goes, Dan, I don't know what I ate. I don't know if it was that new supplement I tried, but I feel like crap. What did I do? And we were in the same place. It's just our bodies are responding to different things. You can have food allergies. You can have air allergies. You can have water allergies. So it's about this is where I want to excite you guys. The more I prepare your drainage pathways, the less sensitive you get to pollen, to environment, to food, to stress. Your body is able to handle all of it. That's how I went from I can't have a sip of water without 20 bloody bowel movements a day to last night. What did me and my wife eat? I mean, I eat real clean, but if I want, I can go eat this or that or the other. I don't really, but I can. Because I've worked on my body so strong. It's so much stronger now. I've dealt with the microbiome. I've dealt with the drainage pathways. So that's what I'm saying. You've got to clean your drainage pathways, and we're going to go over how you can start doing it. So the last 5 I want to give you, the 5 pathogens. 5 pathogens my doctor missed, your doctor missed, and the lab work commonly misses. Either conventional or functional lab work is missing. It's not finding it. And this is where we get a little woo-woo. This is where we head into the dark forest of what are we talking about, okay? Viruses, parasites, bacteria, candida, and mold. Sometimes I'm also looking at a 6th branch here, Lyme disease. Lyme. So VJ's just shaking her head. Yeah, she's probably got so much to say about all this.
I see this a lot, yeah. More like mold seems to be more and more, with my clients who are, I know there's not a direct link, but the clients I see with alopecia areata, well, there is an indirect link, but I'm seeing more and more that mold is a factor. We do all the other things, and we find out that there's some mold toxicity even when it's hidden, and we start working on that, and then they see hair growth. Because it's not something that I was working on as much in clinic, but more and more with mast cell activation syndrome and everything else going on top of that. And it's what you're saying with the kind of the tolerance piece as well. Once you are in a reactive state from mold, then suddenly, it's seasonal change and the pollen's outside, or, you get more stressed, and then suddenly your symptoms flare up and much more likely than they would otherwise. So it's one that I don't think used to be as obvious. I know it is in our world, but I don't think it is for other people. But the mold issue seems to be getting worse.
I actually think it's not so obvious even for functional practitioners because it's very obscure and it's hard to find, it's hard to treat. And do you consider the urine analysis to be correct? Do you look at the blood analysis that Dr. Andrew Campbell's doing? So each one of those guys has debates, has different thoughts in the functional medicine world about what do you treat first? Is it actually there? Can we take this lab test seriously? Should I use itraconazole Sporanox, or should I just hit it with fluconazole? Should I just use an herbal round like black walnut versus wild of oregano? What strain of wild of oregano? Does it have enough carvacrol in it? Believe me. So remember, guys, we're talking white belt, yellow belt, and the ninja status. There's a black belt to it. Just start light, and I'm going to help build the foundations. Now, here's the cool thing. The more you start working on digestion, the microbiome balance, the more you start working on your drainage pathways, the better your body's going to handle all 5 pathogens. Because one of the biggest problems with mold is your body can't get rid of the mycotoxins. That's why every doctor is going to tell you they want you to get in a sauna or do cholestyramine or do activated charcoal or move out of your house because you're breathing in something your body can't eliminate. You get it? So it's the wave. The more you do up front, the body's going to heal you. Don't get overwhelmed. Start doing the things that support the body that have infinite benefits beyond just, I have to do 1,000 things for 1,000 different things. No, it all has a compounding domino effect of positivity or a compounding domino effect of negativity. That's why I don't drink alcohol anymore. That's why I don't go to certain places and do certain things, because it could have a negative effect on 5 different things in my body. So I focus on things that have a compound effect on many things. I want to feel great. I want to look great. I want to have natural energy. I don't want to live in fear. I don't want to have food fear anymore. I don't want to worry about if my house is safe. The number one place I need to be safe is my home. So I invest my time, energy, and money, number one, into my home. We can talk about that, okay? So that'll be the next step, actually. So those are the 5 pathways, right? So that's like the next step. If you wanted to get in remission, write down all 5 we talked about and just look at them and just basic little things. So let's give a few takeaways for the drainage pathways. What can you do for the kidney, liver? Okay, sauna, Epsom salt bath. If you're sensitive, do an Epsom salt bath 3 to 4 times a week. Work up to 20 minutes, see how you do. If you get a reaction from that, you're very sensitive, and we need to be very specific with what you do. Castor oil pack. Start with 30 minutes with castor oil right over the liver. Work up to 8 hours. Earthing. Get outside, real feet, real grass. Go for a walk. Because when you do that, it helps to move blood flow, it helps to remove toxins, and it moves your lymphatic system. When you move, your lymphatic system moves. That's how we move the lymph, okay? Liver, kidneys, lymphatic system, you got to be able to poop. If you're looking and listening right now and you say, I never sweat and I don't poop every day, I already know your drainage pathways stink. Bang, stink, nope. No good. I hear a lot of women say this. I never sweat. I'll go Pilates, I'll do a sauna, and I get a nice mist on me. But I never actually really sweat. That was you?
That was me. And then when I started sweating, I was like, I'm not sure I actually like this.
It's not sexy. It's not sexy. It's like, is my boyfriend looking at me right now? Ew. It's like, I get it. It's not sexy. But at the same time, when people tell me they really sweat, I say, good. That means your body is moving those toxins.
I was glad. I knew there was a shift when that started happening.
Okay. So whatever we talk about pathogens, guys, all these root issues, see, am I moving? Am I sweating? Am I pooping? And am I doing something to support my liver? And there's a lot of ways. Like, remember we talked about that digestive bitter tea? Put a little bit of dandelion root in there. It helps kill off cancer cells through apoptosis. It helps support the liver. And then I could pour a little bit of ginger in there, and all of a sudden I've got digestion support that's also antibacterial. It helps to calm down certain things like bacteria overgrowth. All of a sudden I got this little stupid tea for $4 and boom, I throw a little apple cider vinegar in there. My digestion's enhanced. I handle the breakfast better. So that's what I'm saying. So those are going to be really big. The next step, are we good with that? We got the 5s, right? Everyone wrote down the 5s. That, if you could go to those 5s and start building a little tree branch down of like, what could I do? What is this thing? Which one do I think is my problem? You are going to save yourself years. You just saved yourself 1, 2, 3 years of trying to understand how to get self-empowered. Because if someone had taught me that 10 years ago, it would have saved me probably $100,000. Literally, okay? I had to learn the hard way, and that's why I get so excited. I'm so passionate about this stuff. The next step that's going to help change your life is you've got to turn your home into a healing home. You need a safe place where your body truly restores, where it turns off, where it easily gets into the parasympathetic. Like VJ, if they're listening to this right now and how you've spoken about the sympathetic and they're living in Manhattan, New York City.
Yes.
Good luck. Good luck, right? Especially winter.
Yeah.
It's like, you've got to make your home a healing home. So things that you want to do to create your healing home, you want to make sure that you are checking and reducing any kind of mold exposure in your house. That's a big branch I just opened up. Okay. You want to check and reduce EMF exposure in your house. That's a big branch, but just start writing them down. You can't win until you start building it, right? You got to build a foundation before you build a room. You want to make sure that you have only clean water source. That's a little easier. You can get a whole house reverse osmosis system. So now I'm literally bathing in clean water through my bath or my shower. And then the hose water's clean. And I can, I've got clean. So I got a spring well, SPRING well, whole house water system. It cost $1,000, which is actually a lot cheaper than a lot of the systems you see out there for clean water. And then I used something called Ion Faucet and had them make a triple filter system under my countertop that made it specifically for the type of municipal water in my town, in my zip code, which was cool. And I had 2 ROs, so specifically what's coming through the pipeline, and the last one was a remineralizer to add back the minerals after the RO. So I've got a lot of RO specific to my zip code, and then I put a remineralizer at the end of it. So that's hack, right? Clean water. The next thing is you've got to find systems in your cooking. Get rid of the kitchen. You need to do your kitchen swaps. Get rid of anything that's plastic. Like we buy a $600 Vitamix and it has a plastic container that blends up your food in. And if it has acids or fibers, that's going to scratch it. If you look at it a year later, it's like this, all these scratches, those are creating microplastics into your beautiful smoothie. So kitchen swaps. So if you're going to get into remission, you need a healing home. And stay in remission. You need a healing home. You need a safe place. Because if you don't feel good, or the winter hits you and you got norovirus, or you got COVID, or you got stressful, or you're not sleeping enough, you need to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to stay home for a week. I'm not traveling anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to have some home cooked meals. And you have basically the essence of a natural medicine hospital at your house. Like clean air, clean food, clean water, clean kitchen, clean bedroom where you can get real sleep. You can get it into deep REM, no blue light. So that's another thing. Like the biggest places you got to fix is you got to fix your bedroom, fix your home office, and fix your kitchen. Write those down. Yeah. Say, Dane, I'm going to do it. I'm going to fix my home office, my bedroom, and my kitchen. And just, it's obvious. Just start looking at it and you're going, holy, this is just swap, swap, swap.
Yeah.
Right?
And
That's where I put my money.
Gradually. Yeah. You can do it gradually, can't you? I mean, because there can be quite a lot to do. I went through this process, and if you are using certain pans and baking trays and as you say, all your appliances, and I completely agree with your recommendation. Where are you spending the most time, and what are you using the most? If you're using the same blender every day and that happens to be plastic, or you're using like a baking tray that isn't made of glass, or they're the things to change, or like your frying pan that you use every day.
You know the biggest one I see missed that everyone's not talking about? Mold in the refrigerator.
Gosh, that's scary to think about.
I bet you right now someone's linking in their head going like, if you're putting leftovers in there all the time, and remember, there's condensation, anything in there, you need to pay someone or do it yourself. You need to deep clean that fridge. Yeah. And you better be careful because you have a mold sensitivity. You might actually feel worse trying to clean it. Yeah. Or order separate parts.
Everything out. Everything has to come out.
You got to do it. There's been so many times because we cook a lot at home. When you cook a lot at home, you tend to have a lot of leftovers. And if that sits in there for 3 or 4 days, you look at it and there's mold growing on it. You're going, whoa, guys, because I get mold sensitive. So that's a big one missed. Another, and just like the clean food, I think but the obvious ones that I think are going to give you the biggest impact is you've got to get yourself sleeping 8 hours. You got to get yourself to sleep at night. So like little things I'll do is I take glycine, L-glycine and magnesium glycinate every night. I sleep like a baby with it. I don't need melatonin, and I don't take any caffeine. Not because, if you're going to have caffeine, we can talk about that. Green tea is better. Coffee, I get it. I love everyone's coffee. Dave Asprey's ochratoxin-free mold coffee, great. But if I keep stimulates out of my body, I find I fall asleep quicker. I get better deep REM sleep, and then I just feel better, so I don't need it. I'm in balance. Like right now, guys, I've had nothing. I've had water. I've had water with electrolytes, a little protein, bone broth protein, and I was too late to do my workout before me and VJ's podcast this morning. I was running, right? And so these are the things I see really work. You've got to figure out. So if you're going to have a healing home, how do you get better sleep? That's number one. How do you get better food that doesn't have toxins? How do you get better air? Okay, and how do you get better water? Just start there. And that's like, for me, I don't spend a lot of, I don't drink alcohol. So every time I go out to eat, that's at least $30 in savings. I eat at home probably 75, 80% of the time. I can afford it, but I don't want to do it because I put that money towards my healing home when I ever need. So I've got a HEPA filter. I've got a Jasper right next to me 2 feet away. I've got an air doctor up in my kids' room and our room, right? So that's where invest your time, energy, and money, things that compound your health. So create wealth in your health. What is giving you passive health? Well, yeah, you know what I'm saying, right? Because if you feel better and you're clearer and you're sleeping better and your skin's better, how much money, and I want to say a little to the women out there, how much money are we spending on our skincare and our skin cleaning and all of that stuff? And in the back of my mind, I'm always thinking to myself, if we just cleaned up the gut and the liver and opened the drainage pathways and got this person sweating, would we need all this? Cleaning agents and moisturizers. Probably not as much. I don't want to take it away. I'm a guy. Guys, give me a guy pass on this, okay? Because I know the girls are like, are you kidding me? Like, you don't understand. But it's true. But I think there's something to that. So the healing home, if you create the healing home and you just get it better and better, it's going to change your life, and your chance of staying in remission is a lot higher. If you have a very stressed out house with a lot of EMF and bad water quality, and you're flaring, you don't have an environment that supports it. So it needs to be a foundation for healing. Then you can add in all the protocols we can talk about to get you out of the flare.
Yeah. And I think that's really good advice as well. If you have been doing all the things from a food and you're taking certain supplements and you're not seeing results, then definitely have a think about your home environment. And I think most people that I work with and most people that I know, there are areas that you can certainly improve in your home.
Yeah.
And
okay.
It's definitely something that I've always, even when I think about moving, I'm like, gosh, I'm going to have to check the whole, like if I move somewhere new, I'm going to have to check the whole place out because I just don't want to ever go back.
Yeah.
But you're right. There are certain gadgets and air filters and other things that can really help if you are having to live somewhere where you're not as in control of the environment.
I just want to give 20 seconds on that. Doesn't that also help us return to mother of this idea of home? If we're constantly moving where we live, there's no sense of growth or uniqueness about it. When you put all this work into this house, it makes the idea of upgrading to a bigger house less interesting. Like you're building your home. It's part of your spirit now. It's part of the family now. So that's actually got me excited because I live in Southern California where the houses are ridiculous. And I look at my wife like, why would it make sense for us to upgrade? The amount of time and love we put into this place. If anything, let's just go travel more. Or maybe go, figure something else out. But that's another discussion,
Yeah, I mean, I was actually meaning because we're actually renovating our house at the minute. So we're living in temporary accommodation. And I was just like, no, got to assess the place first. Make sure that there's no mold or anything like that. I can't live like that again.
I would love to finish off this last step or idea, but let me actually give people tangible takeaways and try to get to it. I know a lot of people are just waiting for like, Dane, give me something I can chew on. Like I get the philosophies and ideas, but give me an example of what I can actually do today in a protocol or strategy, a supplement, an idea. So I want to get into that. But the last step is you've got to journal every day on what you're doing, okay? If you're new to this, one of the ways you're going to get into remission is you have to track your variables. If you are sitting and listening and saying, I heard a podcast and told me to take BPC 157, I heard a podcast that told me to take indigo naturalis or curcumin or a binding agent. I heard a podcast that told me to take castor oil packs and I'm doing red light therapy at night. You're doing all these things, but you have no idea if they're working and they're taking a lot of your time, money, and energy. And then what's happening is you're commonly quitting 2 or 3 weeks later because you're not understanding what it's doing and how it works in your plan. People are constantly looking for the plan. They're not building their plan. So I need to break this habit of looking for the plan, and I need to build your plan. I call it shield. Stop building the shield, build your shield, okay? And so here, and I can put a link below to my healing journal. What I did is every day I spent 5 minutes and I wrote down what I ate and what I did. And it took 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes at night. So everyone out there, I want you to be Dr. You, and I want you to see patient you 5 minutes in the morning and 5 minutes at night. I want you to try this for just 30 days. I will guarantee that if you do this for 30 days, you will get aha moments. Your intuition will get much sharper. You will get more calm. You will have less fear, and you will have massive upgrades in your ability to self-heal. Okay, that's my guarantee to you. Because what you're relying on, when you do the healing journal, you're starting to train yourself to be the answer. When you're looking outside of yourself, you're praying that someone else is going to be your answer. Now, you want to have a team, but your team is only as good as you. If you don't have a counted plan and you can't track variables, then the team can't really help. If you come see VJ and it's been 2 weeks since you've last seen her, she goes, okay, what have you been doing the last 2 weeks? You go, I don't know. What'd you eat on Thursday? I don't know. What were your symptoms Wednesday versus Sunday? I don't know. She can't help you discern what we need to change. Do we need to increase the curcumin? Do we need to increase the omega-3? Do we need to increase your binder? Do we need to do intermittent fasting? Do we need to work on the nervous system? Do we need to spend $700 on some test? You have to be able to control the variables. You have to track. So one of the things that really saved my life and got me into remission is I know what my symptoms were last week and I know what I was taking last week. And I knew what I had done every day. So when I looked over the last week and I saw a 20% increase in urgency, but I saw a 20% decrease in bloating, I could start to play with it. And I could start to look at it. Then I could talk to my coach and say, this is what I noticed, VJ. This symptom went down. This symptom went up. Yes, I did stay on 2 caps twice a day, just like you told me of that. Yes, I did stay away from that. Yes, I didn't have any gluten this week, and I stayed away from sweets. But my cramping was still a 6 out of 10. Now we've got structure.
Yeah.
Now VJ can help train you, not try to give you the hocus pocus answer. Because each one of you, I would say the majority of people listening right now, well, you're suffering from a disease that I like to diagnose. It's called MPS, Magic Protocol Syndrome. And what it means is you look for a practitioner who knows everything and tells you to take this peptide, do this biohacking, change this diet. You try it for 2 weeks, and if it works, they're a genius. If they're not, they're a hoax and they're a scam. And there's no accountability. There's no self-training. You want someone who's great, but if you're not great, it dimmers their greatness.
I agree. I mean, one of the things I always say is that actually one of the main things that came out of me, like regaining my own health, was actually getting to know me, getting to know what works for me. And with every client I work with, that's where I want to get them to. It's like at the end of this, it's about you knowing what the tools are for you, not for everybody else, and just learning more about yourself. And that's where that nervous system support comes in as well. I think the more we know what creates stress, how we react to stress, why we're stressed, just that awareness piece can make such a big difference.
Yeah. And the awareness is where the intuition gets stronger. You want to create a new future where you're no longer sick, okay? That's a divine thing you're asking, okay? You need to sharpen your intuition. You need to be, what should I do and why? You have to start understanding that. What you really want to pay for, what you really want to invest in is to become your own answer. You will never get into long-term remission until you are the answer. But when you're the CEO of your health, you're the answer, quote unquote. It doesn't mean that you don't have support. It doesn't mean you know everything. It doesn't mean you're alone fighting this battle. It means you have your team. But if you're not integrity and being accountable, like when I started journaling, I had to say, I've been 3 days without a cookie, a combo, because I love these little combo snacks, or gluten, or I haven't had alcohol in 4 days, and I drank alcohol for most of my early 20s and teenage years and college years. That tracking started I had to look at myself and say, I have to write this in my journal now. I went out, got drunk, did this, did that, and now write it. Write it to Dr. You. And see how you feel about it. And then you start looking in the mirror and you're like, why do I have these urges? And it's okay to have them. You're not going to get rid of them, but it's finally you now have a mirror. You can finally see how much you are eating crap food, what time you actually are going to bed, what your symptoms actually are. Like the whole years I was sick before this, I just knew I had a lot of blood, but I'd never actually tracked it. I knew I was going to the bathroom a lot. I never actually tracked it. And VJ, that freed my soul, because when I went from 16 bowel movements a day to 8, my hands went up in the air, baby. Let's go.
It was worth it.
Because I could now tell everyone my bowel movements are down by 50%. Is that not life-changing? Is that not worth fighting for? You're not even giving yourself a reason to get excited. Like, what is your baseline? No one, if you don't do any of that and you just write a check, even if they're great, even if VJ or I work with you, we need you to become empowered, because that's how we're going to be able to eventually say, you can do this now. You got this. We did the parasite cleanse. We rebuilt your microbiome. We enhanced your digestion. We dealt with the food fear and the trauma. We worked on optimizing your liver. We built a plan that if your body's not feeling good and you're going through a speed bump, how you can start protecting yourself again. We built your shield. That's why I call it shield, right? So so that's what you want. The golden goose you're after to get long-term remission is becoming self-empowered, not just to learn MPS, but you want to try, you want protocols, you want to learn, you want to do it, but it isn't the beacon. It isn't the foundation of long-term success. So you do those 5, your life will change. That will change your life. That is, you just take all that and you enhance it into a black belt, and you will change your life. You will change your children's life. You will change your family's life. And what are some takeaways? I mean, Vijay, I'd like to hear some from you too, if you have a few, but like the biggest ones that I see help people get started, get massive impact. I like to say this: when you're not sure, you're like, okay, Dane, I heard all this. Great. What do I actually do? The first thing I want you to do is I want you to take your journal or take your idea of what you're going to do, and I want you to make a promise with yourself, a pact with yourself on what you're not going to do for at least 30 days. Because not doing something is actually a lot easier than doing something, because doing something takes a learning experience. It can be overwhelming with your daily schedule, and it costs money. A lot of us out here are saying, I'm not financially stressed already. I'm overwhelmed. So what can I do? What you can do is focus on what you're not doing. Here's some examples. I want you to see if you can stop snacking for 30 days. And I want you to only eat when you have a whole real meal, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Now, I'll give you a little bit of something to make it easier so you can do it. If you were going to snack on a corn chip, like a masa chip or something, I want you to wait until you actually eat the meal. Just take the snack that you were going to have and say, oh, I really want this snack, and you only do it with the meal. That gives you bowel rest. That teaches your body to be more discerning on when you put things in your mouth and when you don't. Okay, for 30 days, I want you to stay away from alcohol. Alcohol only increases problems. It does not have any benefits, and it costs a lot of money. Just try it, 30 days. I'll give you an example of how I did it. Went to the bar with my friends, everyone's party. First time not having alcohol. I drank alcohol for years. I go to the bartender. I say, can you get me a water on ice with a little black straw and a lemon, please? Yep. What do I owe you? Nothing. Great. Thanks. Go back. I got my little glass with my straw. I'm sipping on my straw and my hands are up. Let's go. I'm having fun. And no one even knows.
I just like a nice glass. I always like a nice glass. As long as I've got something in a nice glass, and it's I quite like sparkling water for me.
And no one knows. And everyone's loosening up and you're loosening up. You're like, wait a minute, I can still dance and be sober? Like I can still have a great conversation with my friends and be sober? Okay, next one. Next one is this one's tough, but try to stay away from fast food, fried food, and I want you to try to increase. Like give yourself at least 2 to 3 days where you only eat home-cooked food. If you could do 7 days, you're my person. Awesome. Congratulations. But just say for 30 days, I'm only going to eat home-cooked breakfast, lunch, and dinner that I personally made. It could be a leftover. It could be something that you made at home rather quickly. Like a smoothie is going to be great. Okay. I'll give everyone an example smoothie to go. Okay. So with smoothies, you want things that are naturally squishy. That means it's a soluble fiber. Soluble means it absorbs water. So if you can squish it, it has water in it. It's easier on the gut. Okay. If you can't squish it, it's harder on the gut. So think no kale. Be careful with, even chia seed can be a little dense on you, or think spinach. You don't want anything that doesn't squish. Think you want banana, blueberry, maybe a little mango, maybe a little melon, something that's squishy and nice and easy. Like fruit is a monosaccharide, easy on the gut. And then maybe a bone broth protein. The best protein source I see for people with gut issues is going to be hydrolyzed beef protein. If you're vegan, it's a brown rice protein isolate I see is probably the best, or a pressure cooked organic pea protein. And here's another little hack. Try to get unflavored. If you're going to get flavored, use just ingredients. I love that company they make the best flavored stuff that's really clean because they use real organic fruits to flavor stuff, not artificial flavors, which is really cool about them.
You can flavor it, can't you, with the fruit that you just mentioned?
Well, fruit helps. I think if you need a little something, because we have a tongue that really needs a lot, I'll put like vanilla extract, or I'll put a little honey.
Nice.
A little something like that. For a fiber, to start working on fibers, a little bit of acacia fiber can be really good. It's a soluble fiber. It helps reduce gas and bloating. It helps to keep you regular. Just a little 1/4 teaspoon. Work your way up, right? A little water. If you need some like almond or coconut milk, sure. If you don't need it, use water. But milk has less ingredients. It's a little cleaner. If you want to go that route, I would stick with coconut or almond over the soy. And then you could add let's say a little glutamine if you've got gut issues, or you could add a little bit of slippery elm. It's a demulcent herb. It's like $5 on Amazon. Grounded, organic, powdered slippery elm. Add that a little bit. It'll create like this little bit of gel feature in the shake. Another hack is I always buy bananas, and I buy them and I open them and freeze them so they don't go bad.
Yeah.
And frozen bananas make it taste way better.
Agreed.
Anyways, get those. So start with what you're not doing, and that will give your body space and time. And don't go to bed past 10 is another one. Just really try to go to bed and wake up earlier. The morning is actually quite fulfilling in my mind over the night. The years I've noticed. There's not much in the night for me anymore.
I agree. I feel like you waste... I'm guilty of it still, where I'm watching something on Netflix and I want to watch for one more episode. And so I stay up till say 10:30, 11. And I always regret it in the morning because I always wake up at the same time anyway. Well, an hour in the morning is worth 10 times an hour at night for me anyway. I can do more of the things I enjoy and I feel better doing them. These are all great tips for everybody listening. And I think we've gone through so much today, honestly. We could probably do another 10 episodes on the different things we've discussed.
I would love to give people 5 things they can start today if they're still listening, because I know people have been waiting, and I feel bad if I don't give someone do this. Okay, the 5 things I want you to start doing once you're not doing something is start a probiotic. Start a probiotic. If you have mast cell, if you have SIBO, if you have problems with it, start with a probiotic only bifidobacterium. Bacillus strains made of kefir, yogurts, and all that are going to cause more of a histamine response. So start like a bifidofactor only. I like Natron probiotics. Start or bifidofactor. Find an independent bifido to start. Start on a probiotic. Number 2 is something we talked about, but I'll say number 2, start on an anti-inflammatory. Either add a little bit turmeric to that shake. You can skin it and freeze it and put a little turmeric in there, or get some curcuminoids, like a really good organic third-party tested curcumin, maybe from Thorne or Designs for Health, or one of these companies got a good clean one. You can scale up on a curcumin. It's great for arthritis, skin issues, liver. It's great for inflammation in the gut and leaky gut. It's going to be really, really good. Number 3 is start making sure every day you get at least some walk and some sun. If it is, we're getting in, if you're in the summer times, remember, get your body moving to help yourself detox. If you can get some bare feet, if you get some sun, you need to worry less because vitamin D is going to increase your immune system strength. It's going to boost you up. That's really going to help change things. I'd say the next one is make sure, and it's hard to say like do this supplement or whatever, but I would start learning about creating a specific supplement stack that can help reduce the inflammation. So something that you might do is like if you're advanced, look at peptides. A stack of KPV, TB500, and BPC157 can do tremendous benefits for sealing up that gut lining and knocking out inflammation, especially if you're an athlete listening and you need to get in really great shape. I think peptides is great. I go from peptides, then I consider exosomes, then I look at stem cells. That's the way I go about that advanced strategy to really calm down the body and help you get in the best shape of your life. Next is going to be oral care. If you can fix your gums, bleeding gums, or that white tongue, or the smell of your mouth, and you start working on that, that's going to have benefits throughout your entire GI tract. So work on your morning routine. I would get like a really good toothpaste like Dental Sidon or a toothpaste that has a little colloidal silver. Clean with that without fluoride. Then floss. Then use a water pick with that clean water to clean out those gums. Then use a copper tongue scraper. And then if you really want bonus points, then you do nasal irrigation with distilled water. And you can even add a little bit of a binding agent in there. So clean out the sinuses because mold and viruses, guess where they live? Before you ever get sick, they live in your sinuses. They live in the back of your throat. So if you can get that morning routine really strong, someone will like to kiss you a little bit more. It'll do wonders for the microbiome even lower down the path. I think those are things that everyone can take away and start doing and it will have life-changing results.
Thanks so much, Dane. As I say, we've gone through so much and it's good that everybody's got those takeaways. But if people are listening and they want to find out more about you and what you do, where's the best place to reach you?
Yeah, check us out at Crohn'sColitisLifestyle.com. We specialize in helping people reverse inflammatory bowel disease naturally. We do work with undiagnosed and IBS if it's a fit, but it's all about integrity and trust and just building a relationship. We want to get massive results and work with people that we really feel like we can really help. So we allow people to schedule a free 1-hour IBD session, deep dive in your case, learn about you, grow with you, and if it's a fit, we're excited to work with you.
That's great. Well, thank you so much, Dane. As I said, we've got lots more to talk about, I think. So I hope to have you on the podcast again. If you have been listening today and you would like to find out more, I will put links to everything in the show notes. You can also reach out to me on my Instagram account at The Autoimmunity Nutritionist or join my free group, The Autoimmune Forum. If not, have a fantastic rest of your week and I'll speak to you soon. Take care. Thank you very much for joining me today on the Autoimmune Reset. I really hope you enjoyed the discussion and be sure to subscribe to the podcast so that you never miss an episode. And if you liked it, I would hugely appreciate a review on iTunes as it helps me understand what you like about the podcast and to help share the information with more people. I'm excited to speak to you next time. And remember, you have the power to take the reins on your health. So keep the faith and celebrate the small wins. Until next time.